Alright, so today we have a review of the Conrad Komatsu Wa250 PT loader in 1 to 50 scale. This model is no longer made. It is quite challenging to find for a reasonable price. I'm actually still looking for the regular 250. It's got a yellow arm and yellow bucket. It's just standard 250. Those seem to be impossible to find by Conrad, but I was able to find this one. I actually really like this model a lot. I was really unsure of how the coupler and whole system worked because the previous loader I owned that had a coupler like this and some attachments was the Norscot 924, and it was plastic and the coupler could break. This model is definitely a step up from that. So without further ado, let's get straight into the review. So I'll pull these attachments out of the way. We'll get to those in a minute. But here's the loader itself. I love this model a lot. If you follow me on Instagram, you know I've taken a bunch of pictures with it and posted them. I just love this thing a lot, more than I thought I was going to. So let's start off with some of the detail that Conrad did. This is an old Conrad piece, so the detail is not going to be up to the standards of what it would be today, but I still think they accomplished a lot for when this model was produced. So as you can see, there's some nice bolt detailing in the wheel hub right here, and then the tread pattern on the tires is nice. I'm not sure how well you can see it, but you can see it right there. The tread pattern is nice on the tires. Coming to the cab, I do believe these are plastic handrails. It's just a very hard plastic. And then you have some nice mirrors right here, which I do believe are also plastic. I'm not really gonna mess around with them, but I do believe they are plastic. But again, they're a harder plastic, so they're not like flimsy plastic like you see on some models today. You do have a nice steps to get up to the operator compartment. And then you have a latch right here for where your door would be, or one of the two of these would be a latch. I'm not really familiar with loaders. I believe this would be the latch because it would make no sense to have the latch there if the door would open this way. Coming to the decal, it's a nice, clean, crisp decal, which I like a lot. Then you have some simulated vent work here for your loader. And then you just have a nice air cleaner and a very nice exhaust modeled. You do have a nice Komatsu decal on the lifting arms. Come to the rear of the model. You can see you have some nice, I'm guessing these would be like reverse lights. I'm not really sure what they're modeling here. Like I said, I'm not really familiar with loaders, or these older loaders at least. But this is your counterweight. I do believe I've seen a few pictures of, I do believe this opens and there's a fan in here, but I'm not 100% sure. I'm not going to force it or anything. I don't want to break the model. You have a nice Komatsu decal right here on the back of your cab. And then coming to this side, it's about the same. Just a nice ladder right here, and again, nice detail, nice decals. The one thing that kind of bugs me about the model, but again, it's old for its age, so I would understand, is the articulation point. It's a very loose articulation point. As you can see, it's just very loose, moves fairly easy. It looks like they had modeled cylinders. They're just pieces of plastic though, and they don't have a cylinder jacket to go into. It just kind of modeled it for the time being back then. You have obviously your mud flaps right here are just part of the fender. It's the same on the other side. There's not really much detail as you would see like hydraulic hosing or anything. It's just a cylinder for the front of the model. But again, it's an older piece. So coming to the bucket. So there's the bucket. It's just a fairly simple bucket casting. Some nice teeth on it. I like the teeth on this loader a lot. I know some people don't like the teeth on loader buckets, but I think it fits this bucket a lot. There it is. There's a good amount of teeth. And then to get to some of the functionality here. So we can zoom out here. So this is as high as it will go. So zoom out. That's about as high as it'll go. It will actually clear all the dump trucks I have, which it'll clear the first gear Komatsu HM400. It'll clear the DCP Komatsu HM400. It'll clear both my Volvo rock trucks, and it'll clear my Oshkoshes, which I like a lot. And for the age of the model, the cylinders are still nice and stiff. I know some of the older models, they have problems with cylinders, but Conrad has figured out a way for their cylinders not to loosen up over time. And there's your dump angle, which is nice. And then there would be your carry angle. It doesn't flop back or anything, which I like. It's nice and stiff. And then this would be, you can't really get a cut angle. That would be your kind of like your cut angle. But that's kind of really about it. It does, like I said, it does have a functioning quick coupler. I do believe it's all metal, which I like a lot. And all you do is just push it back and pop the bucket off. As you can see right there, it's just some hooks and there's little tabs. But as you can see, it's just a fairly simple bucket casting. And then you could just attach, if you're into logging, you get a logging grapple right here. Again, very stiff cylinders on here. For an attachment, that's nice. You have some nice logging grapple. I don't personally will not put this on the model. Well, I mean, I'll put it on there, but for my collection, I won't display it as that because I'm not really, you know, into logging, but there's kind of what it would look like on the model. For me personally, I like to display it with the forks. And then you can see there's a fork right here and a fork right there, and it just slits on right there and done. So you can take the forks off, you can adjust them. The only one problem is once you have it clipped on, the forks have a limited movability because just kind of like the way they designed it. And as you can see, the forks just like to pop right off. But again, this is kind of how I like to display it, with the forks on the model. Just kind of attach them onto there. Because typically around here, I'm not going to put it on, but typically around here, almost there's a company around here. They run a bunch of Komatsus, and they always seem to have the pallet forks on, and then the bucket's just resting on the pallet forks, which I just think it looks very cool. But I might just clip those on there for you guys, actually, and show you. Just clips on, done, simple, nice range of motion with the forks. I'm not sure why you would ever need to go that far with your forks. But this is just, it's a nice model. I'd highly recommend getting one. Just kind of sits like that. Most loaders sit like that. But I would highly recommend picking one of these up. They can range anywhere from, I've seen them for $70, $80, all the way to $120. Just preference if you really like Komatsu a lot. I personally wanted one of these 250s for a while, so I got it off collector selling his collection on Instagram. He's a good friend. I bought quite a few things off of him. He was selling it, had it for a reasonable price. I wasn't going to negotiate anything lower. I knew what I was getting, so I'm pretty happy with it. I actually am thinking about picking up the Wa250 or 270, also made by Conrad. I think it's the updated version or the previous version to this loader. It just has the same tools and attachments. It's just a different look and design. But that's really about it for this review. So if you haven't already, please subscribe to us here on YouTube. Follow us on Facebook. And follow us on Instagram. Both links will be in the description. If you have any questions, feel free to ask. If you want to see a review of anything, please tell me and I will do it. And I'll get it up as fast as I can. But that's really about it for this review. So thank you for watching. Please subscribe. And as always, stay tuned for the next video.